Today, I'll be talking about the entries for the Empire Games painting competition held this month.
That the entirety of the cosmos is accessible to each and every individual's mind, connecting to the great mind, the great spirit.
What up, collectors? So I've been very privileged to have been selected by Elvis from Empire Games to be part of this as a judge, to look at the painting entries and to select some of my favorite entries. So I'm going to be using Photoshop to illustrate some of my points and how these entries can be better and what I like about these entries. So if you're ready, let us begin. Alright, so I've been selected by Elvis from Empire Games to be an online judge, and I'm very privileged to be in this position. So here are the minis that I've seen from the website. Okay, so the entries are overall pretty good. I'm really pleased by the quality of the entries. I'd like to start off with some honorable mentions first. So I've been asked to select 3 pieces, but of this entire selection, I think it is a very hard choice. I'll start off with some honorable mentions first. So looking at this, I like this piece and this piece because from a distance, as you guys can see, now zooming in, you guys can see that the background really plays a lot in storytelling, and once it attracts my attention, I zoom in and have a look and look at all the fine detail that is being done. So I think that's really amazing. So now scrolling back and looking at this one now, just look at this. There's so much attention to detail and the background is so expertly shot. Look at all this stuff. So stuff like this and storytelling really attracts my attention. Okay, but without further ado, I will start selecting some pieces which I will spend more time to talk about them. Okay, so from this perspective, I would say that the pieces that really catch my eyes are these pieces. Let me just move it around. This one, I think this one is pretty good too. And this, I've been told to just select 3 pieces, but it's not easy to just select 3 pieces. Okay, I would say that from this whole selection, this one particularly stood up to me also, and just an honorable mention, these 2 pieces. Okay, just have a look right here. There's so much detail gone into painting these pieces. Okay, I might bring this piece in also. Okay, let's get this piece in. And I also like this one for its cleanliness. Really sharp lines. I think it's a good job. But I would say that you can add a bit more detail if you really want, like the highlights and stuff. Alright? Okay, now moving on to the shortlisted pieces. So these 5 are my shortlisted pieces. I'm going to start talking about what I like about them and what I think probably can improve on them. Okay, we'll start off with this first. This is modified Tau Dreadnought looking thing. Okay, so forgive me because I'm not very familiar with the lore. I roughly know what each things are, but I can't go into detail. But looking at this, I'm really very attracted by the colors. I think the colors are really nice. Okay, like there's a warm light, and the warm light is influencing the blue armor, which I think is really spectacular. But I do feel that however, there are some things that can be improved. I would say from my most humble opinion is that part separation and definition
Some edge highlighting would help with that. So I would show you guys right now. Let me just put on the overlay layer. Overlay. It's my overlay layer. Okay. One moment, just let me get this in order first. Okay. So I would say that if you had gone for a little bit more, of the edge highlight, particularly these areas, it would make the entire miniature a lot more readable. I would say that something like this would make the miniature just that much more readable, because the central colors are very similar, and it's very hard to understand what it is as a whole, because of course this is an online competition. All I have are pictures, and these opinions are just from these pictures, but I think the value control and everything is really spot on. Alright, so now moving on to this Space Wolf. I think the blends are so smooth, wonderful, and just look at the amount of detail that this painter has gone into, the edge highlighting and everything. I think fantastic. Even weathering onto the decal and everything, marvelous job. I would say that of course the basing needs to be more complete, and of course maybe paint in some pupils. Alright, but I think overall this is a really marvelous job, and whoever painted this should be really proud of himself. Alright, okay, so now moving on. So now I'm going to talk about this camo Space Marine. I think it's an infiltrator. I'm not sure of the names though, so forgive me. Alright, what I like about this piece is that the camo pattern is really well done, and every single bit of miniature detail has been put in. I really like the level of finish on this. It's really very detailed, but I would like to add some points of improvement for this. Okay, so I would say that values would be very important, because as you guys can see, this area, the green over here is the same as the green over here, if I'm not wrong. Come, let's have a look. As you guys can see, it's the same color. I would say that I would rather have the values slightly differentiated, so that the miniature, the form of the miniature can be understood a lot better. So I would say that maybe because this is a red earth looking miniature, I would add some red into the shadows, or yeah, something like this, some red into the shadows with less opaque brush, smaller brush. I would say that maybe some shading here. Okay, maybe some shading here. Would really be helpful, because this allows the miniature to be separated top and bottom, and allows the values to be more understandable. And I would say that maybe just down the opacity here a little bit. Maybe pushing the highlights in the top area, lend to a lot more readability like this. Lends a lot more complexity, so that would be what I would have done. But I would say that the entire miniature is really spot on. Okay, so now moving on. This, I would say, is a real masterpiece of a work. This is insane. Just look at the amount of freehand. The resolution of the picture just doesn't do it justice, but I would say that this overall is an amazing piece of art. Glorious. And I'm not sure how this is done in true metallic metal or non-metallic metal, but this gold is just amazing. All the blends are smooth, details are well done, and I really like how the base is done too. There's a lot of detail and just spot on, man, whoever who painted this. And lastly, we have this flying Stormcast guy. So this flying Stormcast guy, I believe this is painted in non-metallic metal. The shapes and the highlights are particularly correct. I believe that this is the style the artist is going for. A more comic style, as you guys can see. And really pushing the non-metallic metal effect on the sword. I would say that the shapes of the highlights probably can be improved, because as you guys can see, this highlight here is just bars. But if you could just make the highlights more like this. Wait, I'll just show you guys. More natural looking. That means let me just increase the opacity. Reduce the brush size. You can change the shape of the highlight to something a bit more natural. Because light tends to collect around the edges, I would say that this non-metallic metal effect will look a lot more convincing, because this shape of highlight probably wouldn't be seen in real life. Okay, I would say that overall the light sketch is fine, but value wise you could probably look into pushing some areas with more value. So say for example is the helmet. I would add a little bit more value. Push the highlight slightly further, so that it gives it a more readable look, because right now the entire miniature is highlighted the same way, top to bottom. Alright. As for this piece, I would say that it's really amazing. Just look at the amount of care that the artist has put into this. The understanding of light. What's really good about this piece is that the understanding of light is showing through in the armor. I would say that one point of improvement would be that this light influence should also be seen slightly on the base, and especially on this skull over here, because this skull right here is closest to the light source. So I would say that these areas should have experienced a little bit more of the green influence. But I think overall, if you guys have the chance to have a close look at this miniature in real life, I can imagine that it's really a piece of work to behold. Alright, so without further ado, I'll be selecting my favorite of this entire selection. I would think that in the entire competition, the log of corn really stands out. Without a doubt, the log of corn really stands out because of the level of detail and the understanding of lights. But to me, second and third placing would probably go to, the second place would go to this dreadnought because the understanding of light is also really exquisite on this piece. I would say that it's not a matter of which is better, but in this piece, I'm really very happy to see the warm and cold colors interacting with each other. And then the next piece that really stood out to me, number 3, would be this infiltrator marine. Okay, so I would think that technically this really, the level of completion is very nice. Why this space wolf probably did not do as well as this is, I would think that the level of completion on this was so much more than this. It's not better, so much more than this, and therefore I would say that my picks for this would be first Law of Corn, second would be this dreadnought, and the third one would be the infiltrator. And yeah, these are my picks. So congratulations to all you painters out there.
Those were really awesome entries. Great job, painters. You guys should give yourself a pat on the back. Okay, so how do you find the content like this? Let me know in the comments below. If you guys have pictures that you guys like me to talk to me about, yes, tag me on Instagram. Just send me a PM on Facebook, and I would like to do more stuff like this. I'd like to thank Elvis for inviting me once again, and I'm very privileged to be part of your painting competition. Alright, so also I hope to see you guys in more of my videos right here. Okay, see you guys in the next video.